Welcome to the show Must Go On. I'm Gabi Johnson, and my guest today is the very well-known Sue Begent, and we would like her to introduce herself to our viewers.
Sure. Thank you, Gabi. Well, I'm Sue Begent, as you've just heard. I'm a sales, marketing, and mindset coach. I'm the creator of Become Unstoppable, a 12-week intensive program that provides everything that you need to successfully launch your high-ticket program. I serve coaches and service-based solo entrepreneurs. I use my 25-year background as an executive in sales and marketing and learn what you need to magnetize great clients, nail the sale, and get paid what you're worth.
Now, how did you come about arriving to doing that type of business?
That's a great question. And as with most things in my life, I sort of fell into it a long time ago. I was actually a nurse. That's how I had 8 years. I was a nurse. And then a series of things happened and I fell into the pharmaceutical industry. And 25 years later, I'd had an international career in sales and marketing in pharma. And that's what brought me to the US to work in global marketing for 8 years, both Bristol Myers Squibb and GlaxoSmithKline. I ultimately I was working in a small company and it just really wasn't a fit anymore. Their next drug was testosterone and I just didn't feel comfortable for various reasons to want to work on that. So when I came to work and they said, well, I'm very sorry, but your job doesn't exist anymore. Half of me was like, what am I? How on earth am I going to pay my bills? But the other half of me was, yes. And I had no idea at that point what direction I was going to go in. And I was sort of walking through the parking lot, clutching my belongings with the HR person behind me, thinking, I don't know how this is going to work out. But within about 3 weeks, somehow I'd got onto a coach's email list. She was a business coach. She started doing webinars about her next course. And of course, I signed up. And the rest, as you would say, is history, really. I did some consulting for a year while I, got a lot of training and a lot of coaching and a lot of learning curve. And then I launched in 2017. So as a coach, and I've been a coach ever since.
Oh, that's an extraordinary path. So now let me ask you, what was the most fearful moment when you made that transition?
Oh my goodness. I would say that the most fear I felt was probably about a year in. I had not figured out how to do this. And yet I felt immense internal pressure that I should know because I had all of the sales and marketing background. But of course, being a solo entrepreneur is very different from being somebody in corporate. One of the reasons I know my client's journey so well is because I've lived it myself. The yo-yoing between 1 minute you're full steam ahead and trying to doing things and then it doesn't seem to be working and then you find yourself sitting on the couch, and beating yourself up for not taking action and, having sleepless nights because, where is the money? How am I going to fix this? And then picking yourself up again and going again. So yes, I would say about a year in, that was pretty scary.
How did you overcome it?
It's just simply actually more time being a solo entrepreneur and really figuring out what that means was I think a piece of it. Another piece of it was I started to be very discerning about the coaches that I worked with, and some of them were very instrumental in really helping me sort of project me to the next level. And I would say that one of the key things actually that I've done is when I started to work with somebody who combined business and mindset. And at that point, all of a sudden, things started to really click into place. And at that point, I realized that was the thing that I'd been missing in my own coaching and that I needed to parallel path. How do you overcome these? And they're called hidden blocks, because that's what they are, But until you've got somebody else who's very skilled, who can call you on it, catch you when you're doing it, and then give you tools so that you know what to do next so that you can start. I call it sort of part of my job is to get your foot in the gas pedal of your business. But the other piece of the job, which is just as important, is to get your foot off the brake. And so when that happened for me, that was a huge light bulb moment, and it changed my coaching, fundamentally, and the results that my clients get Absolutely.
So it's like kind of rewriting your narrative. Sometimes it's very important to take another look and rewrite it. And in wellness, we do that as well. So I totally understand what you're saying right now. So you decided to really focus on the woman and their entrepreneurial journey. Is there like such a huge difference between coaching a man versus a woman?
I felt motivated to help women in particular because what I noticed in my corporate career is that when you had a group of women together, that often they would be supporting each other. They would be cheering each other on. But when you put a man in the room, particularly if he was, just nothing wrong with what he was doing, but just simply being assertive and put his view out there, often all of the women would stop being as vocal. And partly because I think that many of us in corporate learned that in some situations, you don't want to start really trying to say a great deal because then you're seen as an aggressive woman, and there's a lot of baggage that goes with that. One of the things that I love about working with women is I feel really passionate about seeing more. I see so many amazing women who are so capable of what they do, and they are so self-deprecating. And I really want to see more of us claiming our place in the world, our equal place in the world, and stepping into confidence about who we are and what we have to offer and being excited about that, rather than feeling fear about being in the spotlight, fear about being seen. So I think that there's an extra layer that women often carry when it comes to that. Much of this stuff comes from, with the best will in the world, parents are people. Many of us are parents. Whoever we are, we probably experience some criticism. Maybe you had an angry parent, someone who was judgmental, or whatever. And we learned that the safest place was to stay hidden, and then we didn't attract that type of unwanted attention. So a very early part of us decides that that's not safe. And whereas men tend to be encouraged to, their job is they're going to have to go out and earn, they're going to have to support a family, they need to, even when they're very small, they're not even allowed to fall down and cry, they've got to be a big boy, got to be strong, so the socialization differences. But personally, I feel a lot of passion about this is really a time, we are overdue to just assume confidence in who we are, what we have to bring, and to get out there. Many, many women business owners, their entire business is oriented around doing positive things for other people, sharing their journey for people who are back where they were before they had figured things out. I love that supports so much more good in the world, and I want to see more of it.
We do need to see more of that positivity. Of course, we are into a pandemic, but did that moment change something in the way you're coaching, or did you go about like normal?
Well, I thought at the beginning of this that I would have more time. So I signed up for a very intensive coaching course, which I knew it would be really intense. But what that did was two things. That course also changed the way I coach. I had previously been coaching people one-on-one, and I would coach them, over 6 months or a year. And I wasn't finding that to be nearly as effective as I wanted. I wanted people to get much better results. What was really happening was that when their internal resistance came up, it was easy to say, oh, I can't make it this week. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a commitment this week. And then somehow by the time we reconnected, we would still be, oh, I need to remind myself where we were before. So I changed my coaching model entirely. And now it's a 12-week intensive, and I deliberately make it intense because then you only have 12 weeks to get this done. That really puts the pressure on. They have to actually push, all the blocks come up because they're suddenly, under pressure, and that works so much better. And that's the transformation that that came out of my COVID period.
So beside that 12 weeks program, are you working on anything specific or new, and how can we reach you?
This is my new thing that I am really, that's what I'm talking about all the time, any opportunity I get, because I am so excited about this. You know, my first clients have gone through it. They're already raving about results, and I love that. That's why we all do what we do, is to have our clients achieve. You know, they start with a problem, and when they get to their solution, it's just fabulous. So my website is www.cocreationzone.com, or Sue Begent at cocreationzone.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I also have a Facebook group called Smart Women Who Mean Business. So please come and join us. I do live teaching Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. I also have a free training that I offer. If you would like that, you know, email me. And that is the 3 keys to do between when somebody books an appointment and between then and when they have the conversation with you. 3 key things you can do to take the pressure off the sales conversation and get yourself prepared for that conversation and be in great shape and already build rapport. So that's a video training. It's 20 minutes, and just drop me your email. I'll be happy to send it to you.
A positive word for our viewers out there.
I think many of us focus on the more masculine part of ourselves, which is getting into action and doing things. And that is really important. But it's also important, I think, to realize that we have an amazing guidance system inside us if we take the time to stop in our day, calm our thoughts, and check in with ourselves, and balancing that female inner side with the masculine doing side. And when you combine those two, that's really a recipe for success.
Letting go of the push. This is a very good word for the day. So I thank you so much for the time you have spent with us here today on The Show Must Go On. Wishing you tons of success with your new course. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be reaching out to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.